Hola and como estas? Today I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about diets. I do care though. I do. There are two dietary regimes typically to lose weight, or two methodologies. One, high carb and low fat, high protein, or high protein, high fat, and low carb. These are the two different routes or choices that typically people take in order to lose weight. Now, there's a balanced dietary regime as well, where your proteins, carbs, and fats are even and you just manage the calories. I'm going to explain all three, which is best for you, which works the best for muscles, and which works the best for fat loss. Let's get into it. Back in the 70s, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, major bodybuilders who are multiple-time Mr. Olympias and champions, they were running it a lot like what we're learning now, which is a high-fat plan. Believe it or not, those guys didn't have any carbohydrates at all, or barely any at all. They ran high-fat, lots of volume, lots of protein, okay? Now, a high-fat plan is excellent for your gut health, okay? Your brain is primarily fat. It requires fats for cognitive function, fats for immune system, sex drive, hormonal health, proteins for amino acids and strength and repair. So high fat is almost always going to be a healthier choice. Now, without carbohydrates, grain-based carbohydrates, sugars and refined sugars, we wouldn't have diabetes, Crohn's, IBS, dementia, Alzheimer's, ADHD. These illnesses would not exist without the presence of carbohydrates, and specifically the transfer to sugar in our bloodstream, okay? It's crack. Our body just freaks out, okay? So that's box one. If we're looking at it like a pyramid, okay, the first sub-pyramid or sub-box is high-fat, low-carb. By the way, a high-fat, low-carb plan, they're all high protein, by the way, we need the high protein, is going to produce the fastest weight loss. Now, we obviously want to be safe with our weight loss, 1 to 3 pounds a week for the girls and 2 to 4 pounds for the boys. That's the fastest I would go if I were you. Please, 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 please. The high-fat plan is going to produce the best result. Why? Well, I don't want fat. It's bad for it's high cholesterol. Fat is going to make me fat. Nuh-uh. That's the most common misconception out there, designed to trick you by major cereal companies, grain companies, and dairy companies back in the 50s, because they hired lobbyists to campaign. Breakfast wasn't a thing, girls and boys, until someone decided they could profit from it. Think about that, please. Now, there's nothing wrong with carbs. I'm going to explain that other dietary path in a minute. However, there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. There are such things as essential fats and essential proteins. Let that sink in for a minute. All right, let's switch gears and tell you a little bit about the high carb plans. In the 80s, professional bodybuilders, specifically Mr. Olympians, figured out that if they ran very, very low fats and high carbs, they could keep volume in their muscles. Carbohydrates are what fill out our muscles. For reference, when I'm competing for a show or a photo shoot each year and getting as ripped as possible, the morning of, I'm having orange juice, cookies, chocolate, and a ton of carbs to fill up, okay? To fill up, because that creates water retention. Inflammation is what it creates. Carbohydrates are a sponge. They create water retention, okay? And they go right to the muscles and fill out those muscles. Does that make sense? So in the 80s, they learned, holy cow, I can have more volume, because carbs are the highest volume of food, and I can look bigger as I'm losing weight. That's why low-fat diets are so popular, and carbohydrates are far more profitable. So of course, big food, big pharma, big government leaned into carbohydrates as an effective fuel source. Did you know on the USDA food chart, Lucky Charms are recommended? Not good. But friends, that route of a low-fat, high-carb plan is going to make you look the best for a stage or a shoot once a year, okay? It's not really conducive to long-term. I'm actually running a low-fat plan right now. I've just upped the fats a little bit to make it safe, and you can ask me afterwards what those safe numbers are for men and women. It's going to create the best look. And in my business, I have to look the part. I hate it. Have to look the part every year to sell clients. Because the better you look, the more people want to look like you. And the more they want to look like you, the more they want to hire you. Unfortunately, it's a fucking vanity business. No different than movie stars, okay, or athletes. The good-looking ones just do better. So I have to try and get good-looking every year by getting ripped, unfortunately. That's a high carbohydrate, low fat plan. The problem is there's not a lot of nutrient density, okay? Basmati rice, egg whites, lean chicken breast, no fat. Rice cakes. Oats are horrific for you, by the way. Someone decided they're good. They aren't. And I'm a nutritionist first, guys, before a bodybuilding coach, okay? So there's not a lot of nutrients in a high-carb, low-fat plant. By the way, I've coached over 700 ladies. You know how many hormonal problems they get when we run a low-fat plan for them? I won't even do it anymore. Some of them don't even have a period for 2 years, okay? It's not a good way to go. So you've now learned about a high-fat, low-carb plan, and you've learned about a high-carb, low-fat plan. Did I get that backwards? You've learned both, okay? Now, where you're probably wondering, well, where does carnivore fit in? Where does keto fit in? Where does veganism fit in? I'll explain it. So we've got the two sub-boxes on the pyramid, right? We've got low-fat, we've got low-carb, right? Now let's go over to the low-carb next sub-box for a moment, and I'll explain. There are two dietary regimes worth their weight in salt that I can highly recommend, having looked at 5, 6, 7, 800 blood panels, and that's carnivore and ketosis. Why carnivore? Why is it healthy to eat all meats? That's crazy. My heart's gonna explode. I'm gonna have high blood sugar. I'm gonna have blood pressure issues. Nuh-uh, not true. Does a carrot have a stomach to process hard water, chlorine, toxins, insecticides, pesticides, antibiotics? Nuh-uh, it does not. Okay, so it's full of toxins, even if it says organic. It's not really a lot of regulations on the word organic. There ain't. Okay, so the fresh fruit and veg you're buying at the store, it's causing a lot of problems for you. Okay, now a cow has 4-chamber stomach, and that cow processes all those toxins out before it gets to your mouth. Okay, they are nutrient dense, full of vitamin, full of minerals, full of antioxidants, full of amino acids. Okay, so joint health, cognitive function, brain function, gut function, sex drive, waking up hard, boys. Okay, that's what happens when we run those types of plants. So carnivore and ketovore, which is just adding a little more salad and fruits and veg. There's no fruit on carnivore. Fruit and veg is included on ketovore. Okay, now the third one we can put into that box is paleo macronutrients. There are two documentaries I suggest you watch to further my points. We Love Paleo and Kiss the Ground, okay? Watch those ones. We Love Paleo, Kiss the Ground, okay? One's on Netflix, one's on YouTube. A paleo is under the premise that let's remove the molestation of our current fruit and vegetables and meats. That's the primary driver, okay? Grass-fed beef, farm-raised chickens, eggs, organic fruit and vegetables, which, as we know now, is subjective and a bit of horse shit, okay? Organic fruit and vegetables. The idea is let's remove all of the man-made or man-influenced toxins that we put into our food to mass produce, because mass production is the real problem. You have to make more, it's got to last longer on a shelf, and we have to feed more people for less cost. Well, that ain't so conducive to the human gut biome, is it? I think you're understanding now, right? Paleo is a balanced diet with primarily organic properties, no grains, no molested grains, no legumes. It's healthy, it's a good choice. And for those of you just looking to eat healthier, not looking to build a bunch of muscle, or necessarily lose a bunch of fat, paleo is a good choice. By the way, I have a nutrition ebook for all of you for free, and I cover all this stuff. You just ask me and comment ebook. I'm going to send it to you, no charge, guys. Okay, if you've lasted this long listening to some old crusty nutritionist, chances are you're interested in this kind of dietary regime. So we've got carnivore, and we've covered paleo. Now the one in the middle on this next sub box here is keto. The premise that our body goes into ketosis and operates as ketones or fats as fuel rather than carbohydrates and sugars. Very similar to carnivore in that aspect, fats or fuel. Here's the problem I have with keto, is every time I go on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, I'm seeing these just absolutely horrific meals that look amazing and are keto meals that are full of cheese, dairy, processed. I mean, on keto, a dirty keto, people are going to A&W and ordering, a burger with cheese and bacon on it. It's all processed with a lettuce bun and going, I'm following a diet. It's not good for you, okay? A lot of what's included in keto or putting you in ketosis doesn't have enough parameters or restrictions surrounding organics, gut health, cognitive function, reduced inflammation, okay? So keto is an excellent premise, but folks don't know enough or have the rules to govern themselves effectively. It's too much of it elicits too much want and desire, okay? Just like candy wrappers, chocolate, chips. See the problem? All right, let's go to the polar opposite and lose half of my following right now with the next piece, okay? And I'm not going to hold any fucking punches here. I'm going to be honest. Kiss the Ground by Woody Harrelson is a documentary that discusses tilling and farming, okay? And when we farm for crops, acres and acres and acres, did you know that carbon dioxide is processed and our O2 levels managed through our grass and weeds, not our trees primarily? When we till the entire Midwest, Canada and US, we destroy our breathable air. And there's a graph that you'll see, and they have a chart where they can tell the O2 levels in the atmosphere. And during tilling season, cropping season, our air quality drops by 18% in North America for those 4 weeks. Crazy stuff. Watch the documentary, okay? Where am I going with this? If you're choosing vegan because an animal has feelings, that cow was raised and killed to feed a lot of people. Now, what about the marsupials, birds, bees, every insect, every deer, every coyote, every squirrel, every rodent that's murdered and their homes murdered to grow crops and your vegan avocados or your carrots or your lettuce, okay? The problem is veganism is a left-wing liberal movement, not a truly healthy dietary path. If you're still with me and you're not insulted, I hope you are, but please hear me out. I'm here to help you, okay? I'm not here to shit on you. I have seen more blood work issues and hospitalization and significant cognitive problems and gut health problems on a vegan path because vegans can't control antibiotics, preservatives, additives, chlorinated hard water. And they're eating organic fruits and vegetables thinking they're healthy when in fact they are destroying their bodies. That's why vegans are so unhealthy. That's why they look pale. I am generalizing for the purpose of this video. Now you understand the basics about high fat, high carb, which dietary regimes fit within those parameters, and which are actually the healthiest for your body. I'm Coach Shenanigans, CEO turned fitness pro. I'm a nutritionist in 11 countries. I've helped over 1,400 humans transform, and I've got 2 spots this week for anybody who's truly invested in getting healthier, leaner, stronger, faster, living longer, better sex drive. I'm here for you. Comment, ebook. I'm going to send you a nutrition ebook, and we can start a conversation. Maybe I can help you. I love you guys, truly.